What's up, everyone? Welcome to the final day of our qualifiers for SCS. 4 teams have already qualified. We will be finding out the last 4 today. I'm Crow, and today, for the first time, I believe, I'm joined by Corbeck.
That's true. It is the first time. You and I have never casted together before, so throwing us in at the deep end here, though I am sure, more than sure, that you will be able to carry my hefty weight across the finish line here for this cast today, Crow.
All good. I mean, I don't know. I don't do a lot of weightlifting, so you might have to pull yourself along. But
oh boy,
we got plenty of games. Actually, well, I guess not plenty of games on stream. We only have 2 games on stream. We have plenty of games happening all at the same time. Remember, 16 teams qualified for close calls from yesterday. 8 of them will be eliminated after this very first round. So we can take a look at a bracket, and well, we can make some predictions. So first of all, we have the blue bracket, and I think we're all in agreement as to who's coming out on top of that one.
You mean Achieve Academy, right? I'm just kidding. It's reality TV. Everybody knows it's reality TV. People who don't even follow R6, they know it's reality TV, right?
I would certainly hope so. So obviously reality TV beating Achieve Academy. Frauds versus Gangster Disciples. I gotta lean Gangster Disciples just because I know the players on that roster have a lot more collective comp experience than the members of Frauds, especially with Tones on the roster. They've got Haiku as well, who have that T2 experience. And then Reality TV is going to make it out of the blue bracket. If they don't, it'll be a serious upset. But Reality TV should be the ones qualifying for SCS. Now we move on to green. S2 Esports versus Space Tubes. I think it's a shoo-in for S2. They looked pretty damn good coming into this open qual. And then Somali Pirates, Mystic Academy. I've only seen these teams once. Mystic Academy ending up winning that best of 1.
Yeah.
Do you think Somali Pirates are going to turn it around, or are Mystic just going to beat them?
No, I don't think so. I think Mystic will take it through. They're going to make it in. I don't think they're going to have it in the tank, though, to be S2 Esports, realistically. I mean, that Mystic Academy lineup is not bad or anything. I just don't think that they can triumph over S2. So I would 100% assume that it's going to be S2 that will walk out qualifying in green.
I think this stage of the our second qual here, I feel like has a lot more clear favorites. At least regarding blue, green, and orange. The red bracket is a bit weird.
Yeah.
So we have Not Weebs and Didn't Ask. Now, Not Weebs actually 7-0'd them in the open qual, I think. I mean, Dan3041 and his team were just stomping people out of nowhere after failing miserably in the first qual. But that being said, I don't know if they win a best of 3 here against Didn't Ask.
That's actually a really good proposition. I mean, I think that Not Weebs has done really well on the back end of their bracket, right? They took out HK Rebels, or their quals yesterday took out HK Rebels. They took out a 6 Karma, which I think is a really impressive win, considering that 6 Karma has looked very dominant in these quals so far. I just getting taken to the paint against Didn't Ask. I think Not Weebs carries it through if they can maintain that same performance that they put in at the tail end of their quals last night. Like rounds fought, let's say like 4 through 7, they were clearly hitting their stride. If they can maintain that level of play, I think they just walk right in as well.
I think it definitely depends on what maps they go to as well. If Didn't Ask keep taking them to these like really flexible maps, like your villas, your chalets, stuff like that, then Didn't Ask are going to have a tough time. But 22 Vikings and Collegiate Connoisseurs, these are 2 teams that I don't really know much about, especially 22 Vikings. So let's just look at the rosters real quick. 22 Vikings consists of Owen, Cheddar, Mello, I think Seeks, a couple other players. Collegiate Connoisseurs, a bunch of other players too. Arno, Locurio, JetCon, some other a bunch of collegiate, like Ton, I think is playing too. And I have no idea who to give that to.
Yeah, I mean, I am in the exact same boat as you, right? Like a lot of unknown names in that. And I mean, my heart wants to go with the collegiate folks just because I love seeing some collegiate players, get their run in here. But realistically, kind of given the way that Collegiate Connoisseurs performed yesterday and the day before, I don't think they're going to win this one, right? 5-3 plus 5 round differential. And their last match last night was a 5-7 against 22 Vikings. 22 Vikings beat them. I don't think it felt particularly difficult for 22 Vikings. So
7-5 though is a bit close.
True.
You know what? The only thing about this game, I think whoever wins the Not Weaves Didn't Ask game though is gonna end up going through. And 22 for me, can we erase 22? Can you just put a question mark and then just put Not Weaves qualifying? Yeah, because it doesn't. I don't think it really matters who's gonna win between 22 Vikings and Collegiate Connoisseurs. Regarding the orange bracket, 6 Karma versus Homeland. I like the Homeland guys. I think they're a decent T3 team.
Yeah.
But 6 Karma, I kept saying it during Open Goal, 6 Karma are the second place MXPL team. I just don't think they lose.
Yeah, so the coach of the coach of Homeland actually was talking to me last night about their match that they had that I casted, and then he did point out that they're a little hesitant about facing 6K. I think the specific words were, "We're playing 6K. See you all next season." So I think that 6 Karma is walking out with the W right there.
It's gonna be pretty rough for whoever has to play them. Now the bottom bracket, I guess, also kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I do think we can at least give Turbo and Co the credit. Turbo and Co I think are gonna beat Above the Law. I think it's pretty safe to say. Now Turbo and Co 6 Karma, I'm not gonna lie, I think 6 Karma takes it, but I do think it's gonna be one of their closer games because Turbo and Co do also like to play that really aggressive game. They've honestly shown up a lot better than I thought. Like out of nowhere, Karn has become a beast. Like why didn't we say that in Challenger League? Karn is just like frying people left and right. So I'm satisfied with this. I think these are good predictions.
Yeah, I think these are good predictions too. The one that I have a bone with, and again, I'm going to defer to your superior knowledge here, to be fair. I do think Frauds is maybe going to have an edge over Gangster's Disciples. I know that it doesn't really matter because it's really just for the honor of getting beat by reality TV. But they've got Clipe on there who comes to us from LATAM. He's a pretty talented player. He's a good entry fragger. He's been in Campeonato Mexicano, Copa Elite 6, Super Copa Latam. He's good. Like, he's got a lot of talent. Whether or not that's more in a talent to match Tones, like in terms of overall knowledge and what kind of a veteran player can bring to a squad, I don't necessarily know. I just wouldn't be necessarily surprised if Fraud walks away there. But other than that, I mean, it's for the challenge of playing reality TV. I think these predictions are pretty solid here, Crow. I don't see much to disagree with.
And I mean, actually, too, isn't he? I'm gonna double check with Wikipedia, but I'm pretty sure he's on Alpha Team, isn't he?
Yes, I think he currently plays entry fragger for Alpha Team. Yeah,
and Alpha Team. Let me look at the roster. Yeah. Akabil. Wait. Oh no, Akabil's on 6 Karma now. Clipe. Okay, it says Clipe left on November 11th.
Okay, so he was.
Wait.
No, he's still present on Alpha Team.
Maybe the timing is just weird. Maybe they got picked up by a different org. I don't know. But Alpha Team, Akabil, Nilvi, Toski, Clipe, and Omar's, they were actually the ones that beat 6 Karma in the final. So, and then 6 Karma ended up picking Fungi and someone else for Akabil. Or sorry, they picked up Akabil and someone else to replace Fungi and Rovi, I think. I don't remember.
I have no idea.
Crap. All right. Skimzy,
you're deep
morphed,
in the weeds,
Pixie,
mate.
Skimzy, Morphed, Pixie, Akabil.
What? I can see the muscles churning, the big muscle in your brain, trying to figure that one out.
I'm literally about to go back in the VOD because this is gonna bother me.
I don't
I'm
have
gonna
your
reference yesterday's VOD.
encyclopedic knowledge of the Siege scene to call on, I'm afraid. So a little unfortunate. But I mean, you look at hopefully that's the match that we're going to be watching, Frauds versus Gangster Disciples. And I think it actually does have the potential to be a really interesting matchup. There's a lot of talent going into that one. And interestingly enough, they lost. So I think it was Frauds lost to Able Esports 6-8. And then Gangster Disciples beat Able Esports 8-6 at another point in time. But Frauds also beat Byaku, and Gangster Disciples lost to Byaku in overtime. So they're like weirdly kind of mirror inverse of one another. And, they're both, I think, 8 and 9 seed overall, too. So theoretically, on paper, right, we're looking at a pretty close matchup between these two sides, theoretically.
Yeah, again, like with Gangster Disciples, you have Tones and Brios, both with Challenger League experience. Haiku, I said he has Challenger League experience. I think it's just as a coach, though, when he was with, sadly, with the Heist.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he was just, but I mean, still, it's got to count for something. Meanwhile, Frauds, a lot of T3 guys, a lot of new guys, along with, Klipe that are joining Klipe along for the ride. And we're just waiting for everyone to get in a roster. But we can talk about the maps that we're going to be going to. And I almost cried. I almost had to do unspeakable things to myself on stream just to guilt these people for picking these maps. But we had Bank Sky Theme Cafe all off the board immediately, was not a great sign. Oregon Villa to follow was literally my worst nightmare. And then it came true because they hate me. But at the very least, Clubhouse was banned next, Chalet followed, and our decider is Border. So, if you want to see a fun map, we got to get a map 3, and there's a lot to get through first. But I really wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being a 3-map series.
It would not surprise me either. And again, I don't think there's a lot to say about the map pool that you haven't already articulated there in very humorous way. I'm not quite ready to go defenestrate myself at any point in time. There's no open windows nearby. But yeah, it's not the most exciting map pool in the world, except for Border. Border has been interesting. I casted a Border last night with Homeland. That was an interesting map. It was a fun one. So hopefully maybe we'll get a decider in here. We can see some action between these two. Like you said, wouldn't be shocking if we went to a 3-0. Again, theoretically 8 and 9 seed, they should be the closest teams currently in the brackets as it stands. So that's relatively justifiable.
Yeah, gotta count for something.
It does.
Also, I remembered the last member of Six Carmate. His name is Jack. A bit of a forgettable name, unfortunately. I mean, he was the GOAT, but a bit of a forgettable name. Now, Gangsters, we have all 5 of them. Frauds, we only have 2, so they got to get their asses in gear. Also, I just realized Frauds is playing with Cypher. Now, if you guys don't remember who Cypher is, he subbed in for Achieve or... Oh, who the hell did he sub in for? He subbed in for somebody. And he ended up going nuclear. And he had several maps yesterday and the day before where he was just on fire. And like in a pug stack where I think he was mainly like sledge and like aggressive-ish roles on the defense. So, and I had never seen Cypher play comp before. So Cypher, I mean, he's the real deal. And that, honestly, with a performance like that, is probably going to give Frauds a little bit more of an edge. Because their previous player, I think, was Lauren. And she's absent because she's flying home, I think, for break for university. So she's not with us. So I was going to talk about Frauds, they might be a pug stack, but still losing some of that chemistry without having your 5th. But I mean, you have Cypher. I feel like that's more than a fine replacement.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, considering that they was on a bit of a heater yesterday as well. And I mean, you take Cypher and you take Klipe, who are both, very talented entry fraggers. That's a scary prospect, right? A pair of real gunners on the front lead of the team can be a serious issue for their opponents to deal with. Again, like I said, when we were talking about predictions, I think there's a not insubstantial chance here that Frauds really kind of pulls a bit of a surprise out of the hat and actually puts Gangster's Disciples to flight pretty early on in this. I'm not going to say that it's like absolutely guaranteed, because I never want to be that confident about anything, especially when it comes to Siege. I'm just not there. I'm no Cassandra when it comes to Siege, but I would not be surprised at all if Frauds came out. And the addition to Cypher and you telling us about that, Crow, that does not change my opinion at all. If anything, that kind of reaffirms my conviction that Frauds might have the edge here.
Especially with one of those maps he was going Goblin mode on being Villa, which is
there you go.
Map number 2, Frauds picks. Which is weird considering they picked Villa, because Frauds, again, with how much experience is in Gangster Disciples' pockets, I feel like the map pool, though, really lends itself to their play, because again, they have so much experience, they're going to probably be able to play tighter and more to their fundamentals than Frauds will. And we're going to Oregon and Villa, two of the most fundamental maps in the pool. So, you know, while Frauds had an easier time through quals, slightly easier time through quals than Gangster Disciples, and there's definitely a chance that either of these teams could win it. I think the map pool is a little bit in the favor of Gangster Disciples. Now, if we go to Border, that could completely change, because Border can be a monkey map if you play like it. And that could be Fraud. So I'm satisfied with saying either Gangster Disciples win in 2 or Frauds win in 3. I think when it goes to 3, it's definitely going to be Frauds.
I think that's a valid prediction. I mean, the thing about the basic maps, right, is they are a bit of a double-edged sword for all teams involved, because like you said, if you're good at your fundamentals and you're good at your communication, you're a team that works together well, right, you can kind of tighten up, you can buckle down, and you can have a pretty easy time on maps that you know really well. But that goes for the other team as well, right? Teams find a lot of comfort, and people in general, I guess, find a lot of comfort in familiarity, a map that they know. They should know, you know, exactly how they're going to set it up, right, at any given point in time on the defense. So I think that's a very valid point. I like what you said about coming in at 3 or it's a 2-0 for Gangster's Disciples. I think that's very, very, very valid.
Yeah, and we just got confirmation too that we were talking about before, CLIPE. Just want to make sure it's Clipe. That is correct. And I'm getting another name check for us. So, and I really hope it's not pronounced the way I think it is. So Frauds have a player whose name is spelled Repuhrz.
Reapers.
Yeah, but Reapers is on Gangsters.
It's Reapers, isn't it?
It is
Reapers.
Reapers.
Yeah, that's gonna get confusing.
So Reapers and Reapers. Oh.
Never said it would be easy. You're a pro, you know. You're gonna be fine.
I mean, yeah. If I could deal with Reed Sink and Reed Adams on the same team for an entire stage of Challenger League,
there you go.
It'll be good. But we're gonna go to a short break real quick. We do have all 10 players in the lobby, but we're just waiting for ours. Some of them are still AFK, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with map number 1 in just a few minutes.
Everything is twofold. What's joy is pain on the other hand. And what happens when the one that you love is the main cause of your suffering? I need you like I need air to breathe. I need you to save me from me. I'm caught in your wave, I'm drifting away. I need you to save me. Please don't let me drown. 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 Whoa. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. I'm drowning with all of this darkness surrounding. You need me like you need air to breathe. around me. I can't see you drown. 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 Whoa. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die, but your poison feels so right. Why do I want you when you're bad for me? My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. My perfect storm, my beautiful catastrophe. It's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty affliction. Yeah. I can't breathe. I need to get some air, but it's a toxic addiction. You're a guilty affliction. Yeah. You can't breathe and you just need some air. Give me all of your lies, 'cause you're my demon in disguise. I learned to love the cage you keep me in, but the walls keep closing in, and I don't wanna die.
Look at that. We lied to you. The timer was a lie. You frickin' bozos. We're back, and we're going to Oregon. Gangster Disciples. This is their map pick, as you can see from the middle left at the top-ish in the overlay. Map pick, Gangster Disciples. They've chosen Oregon. Fraud's pick is Villa, and we are getting right into the operator bands. Nook will be first off the board. Frauds, who I'm assuming are not going to play as structured as Gangster Disciples. You definitely don't want to leave that Nook up for them. The Flores to follow, you know, you're playing against a structured teams, and they're going to be able to use that Flores very efficiently to go ahead and get rid of utility. Those all-important shields that we see on Oregon on literally every single site. Valkyrie as well. Very important on every map in the pool. But now Frauds have a choice. Mira or Azami.
Yeah,
They're going to go Mira.
it's gonna go Mira.
Azami's up. Let's go.
Yeah, Azami's up, man. And Azami is such a strong operator. I actually think on a map like Oregon, I do genuinely think that maybe the Azami ban is more useful than the Mira ban. I just don't think the top floor Mira setups, like you look at dorms, the Mira setups from there are not so powerful as to render her a must ban for this particular map. So the fact that Azami is still kicking around, I mean, oof, that's bad news bears there, I think, at the start. But, you know, Frauds, maybe they have a plan. Maybe they got some thoughts in their brain. I will trust until I can verify, let's say.
And speaking of that, Azami, Reapas, not Reapers, Reapas, is going to immediately pick her up for that first round. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see her consistently throughout, like, the entire map. The rest of the lineup, I mean, you know, Wamai and Cade, those are pretty normal. Warden you sometimes see on this site just in case there's a Ying, plus he brings that shield and the ability to play at long range with that 1.5 MPX. The Ella is a little more curious, and Tones is still upstairs, still with a shield in pocket as well. I assume at some point he's going to rotate down. No. All right.
Wow.
He's putting it there.
That's an interesting place for him to put that. That's a very aggressive hold. And you notice there's no elbow extension either on this. Like, they did not kick out the smoke with the shield and the ADSs that you usually see. They've left that open, which is very interesting. This is what I would consider an unorthodox defense of this site, not something that I think I've ever seen. So maybe this is just a level of understanding that I fundamentally lack, or I'm just not seeing the code here. But it's gonna be a hard road to plow for Tones in particular. I think that's a very aggressive position, but Cypher already in deep, and Benny providing with the drone effort here as well will get him right in through the front door down to security hallway.
Speaking of the front door, as the drones come in, they don't spot Tones hanging out in the garage, and Cypher will be our first casualty of the match. Reapas pushes up those freezer stairs, catches the Zoe in Z, and it's a man advantage here for Gangster Disciples. And furthered by Tones. Left unseen in garage, gets his freebie and is looking for more. Comes around the corner, catches Klippe off guard, lights him up and finishes him with the pistol. 5v2 now. We haven't even gone halfway through the round, and Gangster Disciples, what an advantage they've claimed. Benny finally trades him out, but the damage has been done.
The damage significant too, right there. Reaper's now playing up down on the basement stairs, trying to find a target with the LMG. Hits Haiku, but does not kill them. Drops back again as well, and Goons is asking if he misdroned someone. I think, yes, you did, unfortunately, misdrone someone, as Betty here sort of trying to get into a better position to regroup. It's a rough start for Frauds, genuinely very rough, and just getting cut down before they're even in sight of the bomb site, I think, is a tragic start for any attacking side. Benny here trying to push in through blue. Beautiful headshot on Drix right there. Continues to push up, now trying to establish a little bit of pinch pressure and maybe free up their teammate on the stairs.
Unfortunately, because there's no smoke on the board, all they have going for them for this plant denial is a singular C4. Now, if they get that C4 kill, you do effectively wipe away, half of the attacking presence, considering there's only 2 left. Still, you might need want a little bit more insurance, but that's all the insurance you're probably going to need as Haiku shoots Reapers in the back, trying to make his way into sight, leaving Benny all alone on half HP, and these players holding firm. Haiku finally swings out to finish off the Hibana, and Gangster Disciples take a pretty dominant round 1.
Yeah, I mean, we said in the pre-show, right, when we were talking about this Frauds team, that the entry fraggers were kind of their real strength, right? They're 2 really talented players on entry, and neither of them had anything going right there on that last map. They came in, they got worked. I mean, you see Klippe getting absolutely wrecked right there in close combat. It was Benny, the support, who finally picked up some kills, and that's the kind of performance they don't want to see right out of their star players. They need Cypher and Klippe to get kills on the entry. They cannot be bamboozled. They cannot be misdroned or anything like that if they want to make a serious effort here tonight, Crow. Not a good start at all.
Now, and they're actually gonna swap operators. All of them are gonna swap operators and roles. Not a single hard breacher. Really, what you have right now is like 4 entries and an Osa from Goons. So, I mean, if it works, it works. My main concern is that, I mean, we're on dorms. This is not a site that you can just be like, we don't really need a hard breacher. I mean, you have secondary hard breach from Cypher,
right?
But nope, you don't even have that. Never mind, he's bringing stuns. So literally 0 hard breach to try and attack a very hard breach centric site.
Yeah, that's it. This is a very interesting choice. It's almost like a TDM sort of lineup. Like you're just trying to get kills. It's the best way that I would describe it. I mean, you've got the 4 frag grenades, right, for the sort of under the floor explosions, but you have to get those frag grenade operators into positions, and then you have to have the intel where you can adequately do that. Reaper's here, by the way, crawling up towards the big tower stairs. Definitely Reaper's waiting above. The 2 of them are destined to clash here multiple times, but Cypher trying to get in through the top of big towers, and Reaper's uses that to find the kill under Reaper's and now push in on the site. Klippe, though, will not survive very long. Gets caught by Tones as Reaper's, he's just going for it. Full send up into the attic.
I love the Reapers on Reaper's action we got there in the beginning of the round, but unfortunately the Jaeger couldn't make his escape considering he didn't know where the Ash was. Drones coming in and Reaper's pushing off of it, gets an easy one on a Brios, but Tones once again answers back, ensuring that these kills are responded to, and that's case down, and a 3rd now for Tones. He's popping off on the alibi. Cypher taking a bit of damage as well. Reaper's goes down in attic now that they know he's there, and Cypher's left alone. Also in attic, trailing after his teammate, wondering what happened and how Tones just got 3 kills in a row with no recourse. Reinforcement going up. A bit too late for Cypher to shoot through. Beautiful flick onto the alibi as the MX4 Storm's low damage really bites Tones in the butt. But Cypher's still on 1 HP. And this is a mean crossfire being held by Drix and Haiku, both of them knowing that they don't have to swing out aggressively. They can keep playing off the time and the trade, considering the HP advantage. He'll open up a little bit of that attic wall, and as the stuns come in, he's peeking the total wrong way. He had to look at 3 different angles. 2 of them were manned, and he looked at the only one where there wasn't a player. He's finished off, and Gangster Disciples go up 2-0.
Yeah, that TDM style, I'm just gonna be honest, I don't think it's really working out for Frauds. The aggression is not really working out for them either. That's the second time now that we've seen them really kind of shove an operator sort of deep in towards the bomb site or deep in onto the map. They have the drone. I mean, Cypher was droning them in right there, but every time they do that, Tones just seems to kind of been waiting to collect these kills. And I mean, basically Tones dragging gangsters back into this, right? Every time that Fraud seems to get a little bit of penetration, Jones is there to make sure that it don't last much longer. That's why he's got 5 kills of the round. And, you know, give credit to Haiku as well. He's there, but you feel like the engine at the moment really the form of Tones.
And it's not like that TDM style never works either. It works great. Sometimes it looked like it was gonna work great with the 2 kills from Reapers, like shoving himself down in a pit.
Yeah.
Doesn't work when you let Tones get 3 though. So I mean, you know, it's kind of give and take. It's like it could have worked. It had a pretty good chance of working if the trade game was on point, which is kind of the whole, you know, the whole strategy behind that kind of play style. So Frauds just not really doing what they needed to do. And we find Gangster Disciples on the verge of taking a perfect 3-site rotation. All they got to do is win meeting. Another aggressive shield placed just right on the stage. Brios the Oryx actually in the site. And here's the upstairs clear from the attack coming in. Buck and Sledge duoing once again. There's only 1 player here. Most of the players on the defense are actually extended horizontally. And wow! Cypher just got smoked! The Buck coming in, trying to trade. Arepas avoids the shots for now. Not only does he have a kill, but he's going to be able to waste time.
A ton of time being wasted by Reapers, and of course that huge kill right there on Cypher. Klippe up here now with that Buck as well, so the 2 of them trying to apply some cross pressure. Haiku's actually moved into position to back this up, so they're bringing more bodies into this, and Haiku's will find the kill under Reapers, and that's just going to slow things down even more. Frauds yet again getting mauled, and they're not even close to the bomb site. Klippe, the one who's up here on the sledge, one of his better operators as well, but he's going to have to make something happen in this situation. And at the moment, he can pretty much just sit here and watch it until he gets killed. And this is about as disastrous as it can possibly be for Frauds, as Benny gets engaged in a very ugly gunfight here around the kitchen. Can't seem to bring these shots down at all onto the Oryx. He's got another member of the team moving into position, and this is just stalemate after stalemate, none of them going Frauds' way.
And upstairs, Goons makes his way through looking for any of these players. Almost sees the alibi. He's right behind the red bunker. Swing him! He finally gets Arepas, but the instant trade from Tones is there. That leaves Benny alone in a 1v4, swiftly dusted by Haiku to end the round. So perfect site rotation is completed. And, you know, what I said at the beginning of this match is not holding true at all. I really thought Gangster Disciples was going to be, you know, the more static team, playing more to their you know, comp experience. They are not. They are fighting fire with fire. They are playing the Frauds play style. They're just doing it better.
That is 100% it. They're so aggressive, and that is like the saving grace here. I mean, Tones in and of themselves has been incredibly aggressive, but what I liked most about that round was that they realized that they had a good situation, right? Like tons of time being wasted. You'd already kind of gotten a kill up there, and they rotated Haiku's in to back it up, right? Like that was a really good strategic call because you're doubling down on something that's already successful, and it totally halted Frauds in their tracks. Like they just could not figure out how to crack that conundrum, and without the verticality that they got from Crow, there was just nothing that Frauds could really do. That's why you saw Benny, you know, desperately kind of firing holes into walls and trying to get a long bomb kill from the kitchen. I mean, it was a perfect stall and shutdown of what Frauds was trying to do on the attack.
And not only did they have Haiku up there to double up, but once Haiku fell back, it maybe lulled Frauds into a false sense of security because then Tones came up to replace the layer that Haiku had peeled back. So every time someone from Gangster Disciples falls off and Frauds are like, all right, he's defaulted back, we can start to move in, someone else is there to meet him. It's like the cardinal rule of COD, where there's always another one. That's what we're seeing right here in Siege from Gangster Disciples, and they're playing it beautifully. They're just simply out-fragging and out-positioning the hell out of Frauds. Now, granted, it's a lot easier to do what they're doing on the defense than it is on the attack. So, we might flip the script here once the side switch, but I mean, Frauds has got to at least get one round. And with Reapers and Cypher going down early, once again, things aren't looking so good. Kleepe comes in and he just gets demolished by Tones. Tones is feeling himself right now with the Scorpion, no less. Not a great gun. I mean, close range it rips, but the ranges he's using it at, he's got no right getting all these kills. And again, the layers. What? I mean, they just can't do anything. It's like a T-hunt.
It's like a T-hunt. I mean, sadly true, yes. The worst part is, too, Frauds, they're just not even looking like they're able to win their gunfights. Like, they're just not getting anything going. The guns are cold as they possibly can be here. And I mean, again, talented players on the Frauds lineup, but man, Gangsters, they just look like they're on a different level here on this Oregon match. And that aggression, the pressure that they're applying is something that I don't think Frauds is been able to adapt to across 4 rounds. You look at Kleepe's death right there on the Twitch, kind of just walked blindly around a corner, right straight into the gun of Tones. There was not a lot of expectation that Tones would even be there. So looking at the way Frauds has been playing this, I just don't know what they need to do. I almost would advocate that they slow it down, but if they slow it down at this point in time, that they're really running the significant risk of just completely surrendering any form of initiative to Frauds or to Gangsters, who just look more than happy to step up and take whatever is given to them.
And that's the kind of paradox that you face
Right.
playing a really aggressive team. It's so hard to counter a playstyle like this because either you continue your pace and just win your ones, you speed things up and risk, maybe lapses in droning, again, mispositioning, not playing the trades correctly because of your pace, or slowing down, in which case you risk giving Gangster Disciples even more time to set up and collect themselves. So it's a real puzzle for Frauds. And wow, Tones almost thinking about running out, free-firing through the barricades and walls every which way, creating pressure for these attackers. But finally, Frauds is going to get an opening pick. Rios does not expect Cypher to be in Armory already, and he'll be our first death.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's kind of what I'm talking about right
damage?
there. Nope. Didn't even get to him, Crow. He dropped into the crouch and he shot right over his head. So not a good way to start. Reapa's getting in deep here, though, coming in from the other side, trying to find a good shot into Trophy, but it's Kleepe who will be the one who leads it in. Goons is taking big tower high, and we actually saw somebody get whacked here on the last round, so hopefully it didn't work that way. Kleepe finally finds a kill, breaks that donut. It's Reapa's who falls into the face of the gun, and this is a little bit better here from Frauds. This might be that one that they needed to win here, Crow, because they've got to win one. Like you said, they have to win one, and maybe we're looking at it.
Still a 3 versus 4, not impossible for Gangsters Disciples. They've got one watching flank, so Tones isn't going to be coming up from their backside anytime soon. And Benny is now going to be flank watching outside front door, despite being the Thermite with Case, which means they're not really going to be making any progress on the main wall. They do get the Ash in, though, and he's going to be able to... Nope, he's not going to be able to destroy the electrical on the wall because it's placed high. At the very least, there is some reprieve. They take Tones down. The raid boss so far in this game for Gangster Disciples. He was 10-2, now 10-3. As he falls to, I believe, the hands of Goon. So a 4v2. The best chance for a round win that Frauds have had all game, but Haiku is going to put his foot down. Kleepe goes downstairs, trying to look for the Electro Claw through those floor holes, and it ends up costing him his life. Now Frauds have a difficult decision to make. Do they rotate another body downstairs to hunt for that Electro Claw? Or do they just bite the bullet? Because there's only 35 seconds left. They got to start pushing, and Haiku is in a fantastic position, prone behind that foosball table, just waiting and daring someone to start to push in. As long as Drix has his white stairs, which he's watching, then there's no way Haiku is going to be killed without getting one. There's the first Reapers down. In comes the Thermite for the trade, but Goons, meanwhile, is dead on white. Haiku finally suffers his first death, but Drix has the trade. A buddy ace between the Wamai and the Malusi to make sure that Frauds do not take the round.
Absolute disaster. Just Not good end of round play right there. You had the numbers, and I was gonna say, in the midst of all that, you got the real feeling that Drix in particular was just unmarked. Like, it's just a ghost. I don't think they had any idea where that Melusi was throughout all of that. And the same almost applied to Haiku. I mean, they figured it out eventually because he's killing so many of them. But Drix was just, look at that last kill too. No acknowledgement of where that defender was at any point in time right there. And this is a pattern I think we've seen across all of Fraud's attacks, where they are consistently misplacing members of the Gangster Disciples. They just like kind of don't know where they are, and instead of being a little bit more cautious about it, Crow, they kind of just force the issue, and the end result is usually that they die. So I thought that was it. I genuinely thought that was the one that Frauds was going to get.
Too.
Now, looking at it again, I mean, they might not even get one here on their attacking side. It would not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you. I was looking at that and I'm like, all right, Frauds,
That's
you
it.
close this out. I believe in you. And then as soon as Haiku got the kill through the floor on Felipe trying to get the Electro Claw, and I saw they weren't rotating anyone else down, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's it. They can't move through the breach. I mean, they're like you said, right? Those two players were ghosts.
Yeah,
and they're just
they were.
shoving themselves through a doorway. Like, there's no way they're going to win that. Plus, I think the experience showed from Gangster Disciples. That's the first time the experience really showed. Because, yeah, they're trying to play aggressive. They're getting in Fraud's face. And it happened to not work for the first time. So Haiku and Drix are like, all right, you know what? Heal back. We'll play passive, wait for them to come to us. They played the patient game perfectly. The crossfire was immaculate, knowing that Haiku was almost unkillable on that angle. He was good for at least one. Drix watching his white. I mean, it was perfect. And
way.
How? You have like 3 brothers up there, and Tones just kills goons on the beam for free.
Nobody's
And there's
watching
no
the staircase. Nobody's watching the staircase. That's this is just wheels off, man. Wheels off right now. There's no other word for it. I mean, Clipe now watching it again, and what you were saying at experience, I think that just rings incredibly true, right? Like it just comes down to experience. It also comes down to winning your gunfights, and Tones has been playing like a demon. And nobody seems quite able to match that level. Benny finally finding a kill there. Will pick up Haiku's as they push in through the attic, but here's Tones again. Wow. Tones isn't done. Wow. The Gangsters get a 6-0 defensive half, and they have just put this Frauds team in its place.
Yeah, I mean, Drix, Reapas, and why am I blanking on the last member of Gangster's Disciple?
Haiku?
Brios. That's why, because
Brios.
we like haven't said Brios' name yet, because he just like, I feel kind of bad for Brios too, because I'm not forgetting him because he's bad.
Right.
He hasn't gotten kills. He just hasn't had the chance. Because like
Yeah, that's true.
Tones and Haiku, I think have a combined 22 kills right
Yeah.
in 6
Tones
rounds.
is
Like,
on fire. I mean, she's
Tones-
genuinely playing out of his mind right now.
okay, 21. Tones just got his 13th kill last round. Haiku,
Crazy.
before his death to Benny, was 8-0. Because he was only downed in the round prior. I thought he was killed. He was only down. He was deathless up until then. Like, if that doesn't scream dominance, I don't know what does. Even, Drix, 5-1. He's only died once. Reapa's 4-3. Brios, he's 0-2, not because he's bad. Because he's just not getting the chance. Everyone else, Tones and Haiku, are taking all the kills. Those two alone have shown us that they're just better. Frauds have not gotten a solid grip on a round. I mean, I would even argue in that 4v2, because the wall was never opened, sure they had man count, but they never had control of the round.
No.
And now, I mean, okay, here's where maybe Frauds can rack up the score, because like I said, that playstyle is way easier to do on defense, but I don't know, my all confidence has wavered.
Yeah, I think you can't draw any other conclusion. I mean, you just genuinely can't. It's bad because Frauds, they don't even look particularly structured either. I mean, they're kind of just doing all sorts of stuff, and maybe getting over on the defense will enforce structure upon them, and give them a little bit of an edge. But you are also, and I mean, I always love talking about this, but you got to think about it. You're talking about the psychological dimension now, right? Like, you've just been bodied 6-0 and you're on the side of frauds, it's gonna take a lot, right? The players on this side I don't think are experienced enough to be able to handle these kind of some of them are, but not all of them are experienced enough to be able to handle this with a certain level of sang-froid, and they are just dropping right into meeting. Hello.
No
and that leads
way!
to a kill. Brios.
Well, there we go. We finally get to shout his name. How he got that, I don't know, Goons. I mean, to be fair, Goons was probably chilling in the corner. They're not expecting 3 people to drop that hatch off the sled. Felipe and Benny, the next to die, looking for another. Brios catches Cypher on the flank. There's one back, but now they know where Reapers is, and he's got to fight against Tones, the unkillable. Gangsters, Disciples, 7-0 on their map pick.
Lord have mercy, because obviously Gangster's Disciples have none. I mean, it just played better. It sounds so simplistic to a certain extent, Crone, and it sounds a little harsh, but it just played better. It happens. Sometimes the team goes out there in any events, and they just get beat.
Oh, you guys didn't see that because Ferme put the scoreboard graphic up. But the only chat message after that map was Reapa saying unlucky.
Unlucky that they had to face Gangster Disciples, I guess, in round number 1 here.
I mean, that was, if I'm honest, that was a little hard to watch. The only reason why that was okay to watch was because Tones and Haiku were putting up some nasty shots. But
yeah.
Well, back to the drawing board for Frauds, I guess. Honestly, when it was 6-0, if I'm Frauds, right, because this is Gangster Disciples map. Whenever you play a best of 3, you never plan to win it in a 2-0. You win your map, you win the decider. As long as you plan to win those 2, generally good. As long as it goes according to plan. So if you're down 0-6 on your opponent's map pick on map 1, you just got to reset. Like, don't even worry about the round 7. Just end the map. Just be like, all right, guys, you know what? This is their map. We got to move on to the next. Reset. Do not let this chalk us. So we'll see if they're able to reset, as we're going to go to a short intermission while we prep map number 2 and give the players probably a much needed mental. I mean, I'm sure Gangster Disciples are probably itching to get it, but we're going to give Frauds a little bit of a break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Villa just after this.
Pollard's on a double though, and he finds a third to the smoke. Just an ult. Yeah, he gets a 3K with an ult.
With 3 seconds left, Final lands the pre-fire. Nobody can kill him in time.
He clutches it out. What a play from the Alibi as the lobby player goes unchecked.
Welcome back, everyone. We're about to get into map 2 between Gangster Disciples and Frauds. If you missed map number 1, basically, Tones and Haiku decided to play patty cake, snap their fingers, and give themselves a 7-0 win. It just wasn't even close. So here's hoping we get a closer Villa game.
It's gonna have to be closer. I mean, we were talking about it in the break, and I was saying there's no reason that Frauds should get 7-0'd right there. Like, there's just no reason. They're not that bad. Like, they've got good players, but you made a very valid point. It was like every gunfight, it just looked like they knew what was gonna happen on the side of Gangster Disciples. Like, they just came around the corner. Frauds was completely clueless, and the kills were in. And Frauds banning Zofia to start things off. That's is that targeted? I mean, that can't possibly be targeted. What is that?
They only got to play one attack round, so like, I don't know. And then Dokkaebi.
Okay. Well.
Huh. All right, interesting. Let's see what happens on the defense. Maybe we get weird defensive bans. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Frauds ban the alibi, so Tones doesn't get it. Even Ella at this point. Even if you ban Ella, I'd be like, yeah, okay. We'll see.
That's why I said targeted. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, oh man,
it's gotta be. No, they give Tones alibi. No.
This is a good alibi map too.
Yes, it's such a good alibi map. And Azabi didn't even like matter that much. Gangster Disciples played her in like 1 or 2 rounds. All right.
Old habits die hard, Crow. Old habits die hard.
Nook is up.
Yeah, Nook is up, actually. Yeah, that's and Haiku's picked. I mean, obviously, why wouldn't she? The Danish demon needs just can't be exercised, and that's going to be. That actually is probably the most terrifying thing about this, because the way that Gangsters has been playing with their distinct, I would say, almost certain advantage in the intel game, I feel like a Nook is going to do absolute wonders here. But Haiku is going to switch over towards a more sensible, also very strong pick of Flores with the Rateros. I mean, such a good operator. Drix will take the role of the Nook instead if these things hold. And my point still stands, Crow. I think that's an absolute disaster waiting to happen for this Fraud side. I really do.
Well, we'll see what they can do now that they're actually bringing someone to stop the drone work of Gangster Disciples. They've got the Mozzie. They've got a Mira set up too. That's an odd one.
That is a Mira setup. That's what it is.
Never seen that before. But hey, you know what? Kleepe's the one that did it, so I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna trust him on this one. Maybe this is the secret sauce. Frauds, they've got, delay power too. They've got 3 whole C4s. They've got the Banshees and the Goyo packs. They've got a good comp put together. Gangster Disciples, on the other hand, they also have a pretty good comp. They've got plenty of nades between the Iana and the Nook, because the Nook is left up. They're bringing the Flores to boot, so a whole ton of clear for this team, plus the Twitch. And with Frauds still looking like they want to run around the map, take the Lion. I mean, they were playing off of info really well. Force these roamers to sit in place, swing them, and get your kills. And there we go. They don't even need the Lion scan. Drix with a flawless nade on a yellow ping, but Reapas gets traded out.
Yeah, Goons at least salvaging the dreams there of Frauds for a moment. But that was a beautiful grenade throw. I mean, he couldn't hit it any better. That just leads to a bit of a pause here, too. And I wonder if we're in for a very kind of like War of Rats style Villa here, where they're just sort of all creeping around trying to get the better of one another. I mean, the way Drixus is playing this, it's what you would kind of expect. I don't know if they knew that Goons is down here, though. There's a reason that they've held up. They're waiting for their hell to come back on. Goons swings out right there, nearly loses that. That's the worst part. Goons does secure the kill, though, so a better start here for Frauds than they've had previously, getting that Nook off the board and the Lion out before they can use too much of the drone.
Haiku the next default thanks to Reapers. Brios tries to make something happen in sight, but he's dead by the crossfire.
Wow.
Tones gets one, but not the other. And Frauds, after getting 7-0'd, they open Villa with a round win.
That was looked like a different Frauds team, to be honest. A lot more confident, I think, in a lot of what they were doing right there, and a lot more informed as well. I mean, you saw the kill onto the Nook, for example, that we were following. That was a really good example of a very informed kill. I mean, obviously 1 round, Crow, so I'm not gonna, make any massive predictions off of a sample size of 1, but they look better and they look more comfortable, and I think that's the most important thing. I was worried about their ability to snap back after a 7-0. That's pretty brutal, right? It's on stream too, like you all know that sucks. But I mean, maybe they've got the mental fortitude here, and maybe they can really, that reset that you were talking about before we went into the break, maybe they managed to perform that and snap right back into this.
Yeah, it's only 1 round. We're not going to go crazy just yet. Gangster Disciples also not playing the best. They were very separated, fragmented, able to get 1v1'd, and the defense happened to win. That is a forward shield from Frauds placed, what was that, outside the statue door, like facing top red?
Yeah.
So, very far forward. He'll be not playing it either. Probably not playing it at all, considering this looks like a Master Direct.
Yeah, they're not even gonna get the opportunity here, Crow. They're already in, right? Like, they're not quite in, but they're getting close to it. They're knocking on the front door or the master bedroom door, as the case may be. Don't want to lose Drixus early again. I think that was pretty problematic given the way the Gangsters was playing that they didn't have those Lions. I mean, you were talking about, their TDM style of play, the way that they had a bunch of operators kind of spread out. The person you bring to deal with that is the Lions. So don't really want that to be an early kill. Drixus was playing the Nook last round, but they've also switched that around. It's Tones, the gun that was promised, will take over on the side of the Nook. And that's, again, genuinely quite scary here, as it looks like Haiku will throw some of those Selma charges in and start opening up the hard wall. This is really where the work will get started here for this Gangster Disciple team. Tones gets 2, sneaking back in. Reapers will find the kill and shut it down, but the damage is already done.
Goons responds with a shotgun of his own to even the man count, but Haiku's right there. Reapers, another. Klipe, a third. And Gangster Disciples, despite opening the round with the 2K from Tones, have fallen behind thanks to the trades from Frauds. Brios now alone in a 1 versus 2. Sneaks past the player playing inside Trophy, hugging that bomb chassis. Reapers with a long angle on the case as well. Brios can maybe pick that up, but it doesn't look like he's too interested in doing so. And the clone not catching the Aruni Gate because of the jammer will eventually burn away that bathroom Aruni Gate. Nade off the shield. Start to make his way in. Maybe it's a feint. Reaper's still watching, and he doesn't click in time. Brios successfully long arms that case to pick it back up, and has since made his way again through bathroom and into Astro. It looked like he just saw a few pixels of Reapers as the alibi crossed. The defense has pings on Brios' position as well. He's got to get a move on and start to make a move. Klipe's watching the rotate. Again, they have pings. He never shot the default. He'll finally dust it. And Brios, a great shot on the Reapers to put us in a 1 versus 1. Try and plant this case, but it's just a fake. Trying to get Klipe to move. He's got the Aruni Gate to play off of too, and he'll flame it off with that Goyo. The perfect place of that defender's utility, but he rotates off of it, not opting to use it for the plant, but instead there's another Goyo canister he can use. Klipe's still got a C4 though. Brios is getting that plant down. 2 seconds left. Klipe just sprints through the fire, and that forces Brios off. The Goyo, braving his own utility, gives Frauds another round.
Wow. That's a heck of a round right there, Crow, honestly. Frauds, I mean, first of all, it was very fast until it wasn't. I think that was one of the crazy parts of that. All that action was happening. We were basically down to a 2v1 in 1 minute and 30-ish seconds right there, which was nuts. And then on the backside of that, you saw how sort of tense it got there at the end. And I want to give credit to Brios for playing that very well, right? Inspired use of the Volcons. They go both ways at the end of the day, and to try and get that plant down. But, Klipe is a professional. He read it well. He knew exactly what he had to do, and he went in and he secured the round. So I want to say that it was a good round from, weirdly, it was a good round for both teams in just the sense that they did really well in those hyper aggressive engagements. I think the thing that they maybe need to watch out for is something like Tones on the Nook again, which again, just unmarked, right? Like if they hadn't had good reflexes there to respond, I easily think Tones would have picked up a 3K right there before they finally brought him down. Was flashing us a Montaigne, by the way, for a second, which would have been hilarious, but instead he's going to come out here on the Twitch, which, I mean, that's a fragger. That's a fragger roll, right? You get the FAMAS in hand and you just go to work. So it's a good lineup, I think, for this particular attack. A good mix of verticality, a good mix of pinning down Roam, and some util destruction in there as well.
Excited to see Cypher play with this Pulse. What is a bit odd, though, is the fact that they only have one C4. So if Cypher misses his, then I mean, they don't really have much else to work off of. Info is still info.
Yeah, it's an intel
which
tool.
is all important.
I mean, at the end of the day.
We won't get any more freebies. The Ace will start to open up Pantry Wall, exposing the Pulse, forcing him to move, forcing Benny to back out of Dining as well. It looks like that's what Gangsters are probably going to set up for. They're not too interested with full clearing this top floor, it looks like. Most of their men positioned around the horizontal. Tones already making his way in downstairs on the opposite side. Well, now making his way in as he vaults through the window. And one player upstairs, Reapa's, looking, watching something, maybe inside of Master. Tones, though, doesn't know about the player placed on those study stairs. But no, okay, here we go. Gangsters now rotating more people upstairs.
Yeah, I got to try and deny that vertical, get control of it. Tones gets a good early kill onto Klippe right there. That's the Melusi off the board. Reapa's here stepping up into the gut of things just outside Astro door as Reapers, under a little bit of threat, walks right into the gut of Reapa's, and a little Reapa's on Reaper's violence right there again. Second time we've seen so far in this game. Drix, though, that's a bit of a hefty loss. Did get some lion pings off before it happened. Haiku, though, will find Benny. Now Tones is right in the bomb site, pretty much. Cypher playing a horrible position here, stuck between two sides. Will this get the pleasure of bringing down Tones, but will not see Haiku sneaking in, and that will be the final blow right there. So finally, Gangsters Disciples with a round on the board.
And that's what we need to see from them, working together in tandem. Sure, Tones was kind of off by himself, but, you know, he's Twitch. That's what Tones does.
Yeah.
The rest of them clearing that upstairs very well, distracting Reapers with the drone. I don't think Reapers shot the drone either before swinging bathroom, so they had pretty much full info on him, and the kills just came over and over for Gangsters Disciples. So they finally take their first round. Frauds will go back to AVG where the rotation started and where by far their most dominant round was.
Yeah, I think that what was interesting, and you mentioned it playing as a team, is they really kind of herded some of those kills. Like, there's not really another good word for it, especially with the one on the Alibi upstairs. You saw them basically like push Alibi into the gun of Reapas, and I think that's, you know, it's really good play, and it speaks to the veteran side of this Gangsters Disciple squad that they're able to pull off tricks like that, and something they need to maintain going forward. The downside is, I think that tertiary bomb site lends itself much better to that kind of clear than something like Aviator Games, right? This is going to be a bit of a slugfest again. It is my gut instinct on this one, but Gangsters, it's almost like they're having to adapt their playstyle. They're needing to become more tactical and clever than they were on the previous map. It's not entirely just run and gun and kind of get in their face. They're thinking a little bit more, especially because they're attacking first. Great early kill, though, from Cypher, or whatever you're going to say. Reapas is down.
That's Sledge dead. That is one of 3 sets of nades dead. So, I mean, you know, if you're Gangsters Disciples, you still have 4 more nades with which to work picks from below. What is this?
Wow, that's an angle.
How do you can get on that side of the roof? I've never gotten on that side of the roof, and I've never seen someone go to that side of the roof. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense that you can. I've just never actually seen someone do it.
Why not?
But Goons dies
no.
because Brios was ready for him. Wow, he was watching that art door like a freaking hawk.
Yeah, up on the roof as well, perched, waiting to jump on. And then the first sign, unsheath the talons right there. And he, of course, does. That's a good kill to get out of the way. Take one of those roamers down slowly but surely. It's Tones on the Nook again, the absolute terror combo. The one that really scares me personally if I was in this lobby. Gonna go ahead and take down a camera there, which, depending on how up-to-date Frauds is, could give them a little bit of idea of what they should be worried about. Maintaining a pretty aggressive push here on balcony as well, which I think is a bit of a dangerous prospect considering they've got the mirror window watching into study. They've got Klippe waiting. You might actually see Frauds trying perhaps to rotate at least one more defender back to help with that relatively aggressive push as Brios just kicks in for music here and preps the frag grenade. That could be perfect if he throws it on the right side. He picks wrong though, and so Benny will only lose a half of their health instead of their whole life.
Deals with 2 Goyo packs on that skull door, though. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's where the case is going to be coming from. They're mainly focused on the study side of things. Cypher is tasked with holding down these main stairs against Brios, and Benny and Reapers and Cypher all find kills. Whoa. 3 members of the attack make it all. 4 fall in tandem, one after the other. Not a single kill being found after Goons died, and Frauds, another dominant AVG defense.
It's weird. That was like something we saw from Oregon, but in this case, it was Gangster Disciples who had no idea where the members of Frauds were instead of the other way around. I mean, you saw kind of the positioning of the Wamai right there, just absolutely feasted. Got, I think, a triple kill on that round, so really impressive. Obviously, Frauds are feeling themselves a lot more here on this villain map than they were when they were over on Oregon, which is interesting because, I mean, they're both kind of, basic maps, so it's curious that they come over to this one and they feel just incredibly more confident. They feel more collected, and their defenses in general have just looked pretty strong. I mean, Gangsters is not, I was going to say they're not adapting particularly well, Crow, but I mean, it's kind of not even a matter of adaptation. It's almost a matter of like they're trying to force it sometimes, kind of like they did at times on Oregon. This time, though, they're just not able to get by with the same kind of stuff.
Maybe it's just a better understanding of the map from Frauds.
It probably is. Genuinely, it probably is.
Yeah, it could be as little as that. So, either way, Frauds have turned up now that we've switched maps. Gangsters Disciples struggling to get solid footholds into the round. That 3-man, I guess, study attack too was a bit odd. The drone comes in. I think they spotted the guy AVG, but they don't know about the Melusi until it's too late. Goons, a freebie, swinging study Balk, killing Drix. And now Brios has to figure out what he wants to do. Does he want to move in, take the fight against the Alibi, or go for the refrag against Goons? Well, it's too late to find the Melusi, and now it'll be too late to find Reapers. He's already backed off through Skull and is looking to default back to site.
That death by Drix is a perfect example of what I was talking about, though. Like, just trying to force it. Like, you're instead of maybe repositioning, coming around from another side, playing it differently, they literally are just like trying to point blank frags into the enemy team. And I mean, if it works, it's great, but it's very clear that Frauds are the kind of squad that are going to get hyper aggressive on the backside of that. So you've got to be very careful about how you're doing this. And meanwhile, Reapers is just reaping their way through every defensive util, and there's the shift. This is a much better call here. Come on an angle that they're less prepared to deal with, and Reapers is already feeling some of that pressure there at the top stairs, but it's Goons again, unmarked. And Melusi finds yet another kill.
Goons has been the standout performer this map so far. He and Reapers are tearing through this attack. Brios is on the hunt. He's going to check the corner, and he'll finally put down Goons. Haiku follows it up onto Benny to equalize the man count, but he's swiftly traded out, and the case has been dropped in control of the smoke of Cypher. Reapers maybe looking to go in the window. Brios, the nade from below, finds Klippe behind the shield. Now it's a 2 versus 2. Reapers misses his shots. Won't get another opportunity, at least not for now. The SMG-11 from Cypher missing 2, but Brios through the floor! The game sense from that Iana to use the nade hole he just opened to kill that player and put his team in a 2 versus 1. They know exactly where Cypher is. The smoke is trapped thanks to the angle being watched by Reapas, and that's going to prompt the rotate from Brios. They know they can catch this smoke, but a lot of damage is going to be done to both Brios and Cypher. Brios now comes in for the finisher, and he wins it. Gangsters Disciples, they consolidate, and they win the round off the back of a 4K from Brios.
Big round for Brios, huge round, but also a good round from Gangsters Disciples in general. They really looked confident right there. They really looked like they knew what they wanted to do, and they adapted, which is they didn't try and force it, right? They adapted pretty well. I mean, the interesting thing is, and it's always hard to track, Crow, right? The intel minigame of Rainbow Six Siege is always a bit difficult to deal with, but when you see an operator like Goons, who, I mean, admittedly, on one of their kills, they were marked, but on that second one, I don't think Gangsters Disciples had any idea where Goons was. And this was the issue that was plaguing Frauds as well. It's hard for us to see exactly how that's playing out, but I think Gangsters are struggling on this map to keep track of the members of Frauds, to know where everybody is, and Frauds is taking advantage of that. And those straight up gunfights, though, those kind of situations where it's a 2v2 or a 2v1 and Gangster Disciples has a pretty good idea of where their opponents are, they look so much stronger in those kind of situations. When the board is set and certain, they are by far and away the stronger team.
Now we go back to Trophy for Frauds. Interesting decision. I guess just not wanting to deal with the slaughter that was the dining kitchen site
Yeah,
again.
probably not.
I want to take that chance. Figure it's, going 1-1 on this site. And I mean, it was relatively close last round too. Or do they got a better chance here? And understandably so. They'll bring pretty much the same operator lineup. The only difference is that instead of an alibi, they're bringing the mute, which Goons will don, passing the Melusi to Reapers. Gangsta's Disciples, though, now taking the Nook again and bringing a Nomad. So off the Lion onto Nomad, Drix will play the air jab operator. I guess, again, trying to just lock down rotates, because Frauds have been playing very fluid.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. It's the direct kind of feedback effect of the kill by Goons when they caught him looking in the hallway. You're trying to prevent something like that happening again. That's why you bring in Nomad, you try and shut down some of these rotate angles. And again, like I said, Gangsters want the map set. They want to know where everybody is. They want everybody in fixed position so they can pick them off one by one. And a Nomad really helps them do that. Like, that's a very good operator for both intel and for kind of control of the map space. You see Tones there just sort of loitering around kitchen. I think maybe waiting to time this.
Oh.
Beautiful grenade from below to take Reapers out early. Tones revealing their position, but none of the members of Frauds are going to be able to respond to that. And that frag grenade was go time here for the side of Gangsters.
Unfortunately, he'll miss the second. Looks like he was debating where to throw it and ended up choosing wrong. So they get that opening pick on the Reapers. And not only is that an opening pick, but it's one on one of the site players. So either the anchor game is going to be weaker, or they'll have to rotate a roamer back to site to assist the team. The drone spots Cypher hugging the corner as well. Drix takes a little bit of damage from the Aruni peeking the floor holes that the ace opened. Also got some info in sight thanks to the bulletproof cam, and it looks like Haiku is going to go ahead and repel on the Astro window, which forces Cypher back some. No longer able to play close with the shotgun, allowing Bathroom easier access for the attack.
Indeed, Drix now dumping some grenades in. Benny completely white right there. Nothing they can do about it. Haiku has to go ahead and pop that Volcan. It had to die eventually, so it will go down. Benny here trying to play a bit of heads-up defense, and you see at least one of the roamers coming back to roost, but 40 seconds left. Tones gets caught looking. Benny does find that kill. Benny nearly picks up another one with the DMR. Won't quite find it, though. Brios now in cover. Pops the Gemini. Has to send that in to clear the gate, but it's Haiku who strikes next. Catches Benny looking, and the Aruni gate, by the way, remains inviolate right here. Brios is going to step up into that fight. Cypher with the Mossberg waiting around the corner, lays Brios out, and there you go. Frauds cleaning up efficiently right there and holding their nerve in a very tense round number 6.
And Tones needed to not get spotted there. So, I mean, the whole idea of Nook is to be hidden on cams, and he was just working his way up the 90 hall with the health presence reductor not activated, and they just had yellow pings from, I think, the 90 cam. and then he just died.
Yep.
So the Gangster Disciples tried to make their move off the pinch. They also kind of died. I mean, they were there with the trade game for a couple of those kills, but things really started to fall away once Froz started pressing the issue and peeking back. Now Gangster Disciples are on the defense. And, you know, maybe the attacks are generally weaker for Gangster Disciples. We couldn't really tell because they only got to play one round of it last map. However, the defense is a known quantity, right? They just 6-0'd on Oregon. Now, Villa may be less defender-sided than Oregon, typically. A lot of people would say, you know, it's still you can play that wild and crazy style a lot easier on the defense, like we just saw from Froz.
Yeah.
But that being said, it doesn't look like Gangster Disciples are going to do that. I mean, they're bringing Castle, Mute, Mira. They might play closer to the chest here.
It does seem like a very sort of turtley style of defense, doesn't it? You got all those castle barricades up. Those are obviously kind of implied sort of tight defensive map control sort of things. And the mirror is the same way. And I mean, Tones playing one of the best mirror, windows on this map is going to be an absolute bugbear here that Froz is going to have to get rid of somehow, and I don't know how they're necessarily going to do it. I wouldn't want to be stacing down that mirror window if I know that Tones was there. And he already checking his backside too, making sure he won't get caught out. They could possibly set up a little bit of a crossfire here maybe and hunt it down. I don't know exactly how they're going to make this work, but I think they're going to try and send Cypher in here with the Twitch drone to pop that, and that'll force, I presume, Tones to fall back.
But not before he gets the kill on Reapers, though. So even though he loses the mirror window, Frauds lose their Nook. Tones, though, immediately gets traded back as Cypher moves on in. So they do deal with the mirror that I think you called a bugbear.
Bugbear. That's like a pain in the butt. It's a type of thing.
I see. I was gonna say, is that a D&D reference?
That's an old person word, but yes, the D&D reference is a reference to an old person word. Let's just call it that.
All right. I'm just making sure. Goons is just in sight. All right. And he's got a pings on a couple of players, but he'll miss his opportunity and not kill Brios there? Wow. That's incredible. I can't believe he didn't kill the castle. And now they're aware of Goons. So Goons no longer has the element of surprise. He will be able to EMP the cam. Drix takes some damage playing in bathroom thanks to Benny. And Haiku is going to start to make his move. But look at this. The attack is aware of it. The Lion's watching it, but still loses it. Haiku got two?
Wow.
What? He got
Through the
Cypher?
wall.
Did he get him through the wall?
Yep, through
No,
the wall.
wait, he killed him first. I don't know how the hell that happened. Drake's allowed to push up into bathroom, catches Cleave in the rotate, and the round's over. Wow,
Okay.
what a monstrous flank from Haiku.
I'd love to see that one again. I unfortunately I don't think we have it, but I would love to see what happened there. Somebody's gonna have to watch the tape back and figure that out, because that is savage. I think it must have been through the wall, but I don't know. That was
Maybe
a weird
it was
one.
like one of those like he's firing as he's adjusting his aim and just
That's what
happened to
I was
catch
thinking.
Cypher first.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's
or
Kennedy
or it could have
magic
been,
bullet stuff right there. I don't know what's going on.
Or it could have been like, because I know he had a very brief glimpse of Cypher as he was walking into Boar. Maybe Haiku's just that nasty. Like maybe he did get the kill and got the quick readjustment, the micro flick on the goons. Who knows?
Is savage. Regardless, great round to start off the defensive side for Gangsters. It was not even on the primary bomb site right there, so they got to feel happy about that. They'll pick up the primary bomb site now. AVG on the deck. Tones is back over to that Ella. They had a lot of success running that one last time, and I think he made that Scorpion work for him. I think you were the one who pointed that out, Crow. I like this addition here of Brios too with the Frost. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of Frost on this site, but I think with the way that Frauds have been playing, they might be caught off guard by that. I think that's a thing that might actually catch them looking. I don't know that they're going to be waiting or expecting those kind of things, and that's a distinct advantage. Like these traps too, these concussion mines that Tones is putting out. That's more, I think, for intel than anything else, because it looks like Tones is going to be playing that very aggressive positioning again. And sure enough, Reaper's already dead.
I was about to say I saw his silhouette, and I was gonna say, wait, is Reapers? Is he in painting? Like, is he just there? Tones doesn't look like he knows. And then And then Tones just turned around and smoked him. So, well, you lose your Nook early on again, and now you lose Klippe. I think that was that a one tap? I think that was a one. I didn't hear. I thought I just heard like one single shot. Reapers, though, won't find any success on the roam. Cypher will kill him and is looking for the other one on Brios as the Frost is just looking the complete wrong way. So what was an early 2 kills for Gangster's Disciples has now been whittled away by the attack. They've equalized the man count. Now they can take a breather and try and try and adjust their strategy, because clearly, you know, they were not planning on going to this attack with no nades. And now flanking Ela. But they know! All right, good drone work. They got the flank drones.
Cypher has been playing much better on this map than what we saw previously. 10 and 5, really looked pretty confident in command as well, and I think that was a good example of it. This is, again, though, we've actually seen something similar to this. I think it might have actually been Drixus and Haiku on the defense on Oregon, right, where they had a 2v4 hold. So we know that they're capable of doing something akin to this, and they have the discipline to play this out correctly. Drixus just needs to be awful careful playing games around that study window. And that's the kind of thing that you could easily lose that gunfight with disastrous consequences here, as Goons has really been feeling themselves on this map. And sure enough, no, Goons way too ambitious, jumps in without even checking, and Drixus collects an easy kill.
He didn't wait for the flash to go off. He just assumed the stun was going to clear his way in, but there was an ADS top main to catch it. That's why Drix was able to get that kill. Now we're in that 2 versus 2, but Haiku opts to keep peeking the angle even after he's spotted, leaving Drix alone, but he's got the shield to play with him. Benny stands up right behind it. Cypher, you're looking the wrong way! What? Where's the communication?
Where is the communication? Absolute communication breakdown. Led Zeppelin be pleased with that. Again, beautiful end of it's reaching deep into the back catalog right there for that one. But a beautiful bit of play by the Gangsters right there, and exactly what we saw actually on Oregon. Those two, when they're in those late round situations, we have been saying their name a ton on this map, but they played that very good. They fell back. They were disciplined, and they were benefited, or they were given a couple of weird decisions there too by Frauds. We think about, you know, the stun grenade that didn't go off, right? You just went in, and the other one too, standing up right behind the shield. I don't know if that was an attempt to maybe get the drop on the Drixus, was it? I think that was watching, or Haiku, but it just doesn't work. I mean, they're already aiming at you. You know, you just got to kind of stay behind the shield and wait for your teammate to come around and clean it up, and it just didn't happen. So they've leveled it back out now to 4v4, and this is something that I think I was worrying a little bit about at the half, whether Gangsters could sort of just hit a run here on the defense and just keep going, bro. Like, then I think that's entirely what we might be looking at right here.
Yeah, 4-4 now. I think Gangster's Disciples may just have that momentum in pocket. I was gonna say, wow, a Led Zeppelin reference. You know the average age of our audience, right?
I figure there are enough kids out there who like some Led Zeppelin. That's a timeless one, in my opinion.
That's true. Led Zeppelin they're one of the greats. That's what I grew up on too. How much older are you than me? How old are you?
A lot. I'm not going to give my age away on stream because I don't need to do that to myself. 32, Crow, so you can do that.
Decade! Wow, and I get called old. Oh my
yeah. God. I've even got Chief Pete. I'm the ultimate boomer.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I forgive you.
Thanks. I appreciate your forgiveness.
No problem. Oh, Tones dies! No way! Tones is going to be the opening death, and Goons just walks right on in! Rios has no idea. So, well, one freebie for now, as Tones hasn't been cleaned up just yet. Well, as I say that, there's... But, alright. Definitely not the start that the defense was looking for. This is a good chance for Frauds to stunt that momentum.
Yeah, but we actually saw a similar situation not that long ago where Gangsters managed to play out of a situation where they were in a 2v3. They could level this back up, I think, and we'll be right back at there, but certainly Frauds looking pretty confident. And the loss of Tones early on, I think, is a big one. Drix is can't hit anything. And the same goes for Klippe on the opposite number, as Reapa's here 1-5. Not been a particularly great map for Reapa's, but is backed into a corner. All this fight, by the way, over this verticality, right? Controlling the top floor. Drixus finds Benny, good kill. Drixus finds another one, a double kill for Drixus, and that's Cypher and Benny gone. And that's a huge advantage right there, but Klippe steps up into the fight and finds Drixus. Reapa gets the trade back out, back and forth between these two until it's just a 1v1 now. It's Reapa's versus Haiku, and Reapa's comes over the top rope and he doesn't see him.
What? All right, first of all, why is Haiku pushing out Carf? Right? Like, that's already kind of weird. But okay.
Oh my god.
Your teammate just
vault?
Full traded, like perfect traded with that guy upstairs, and you're like, yes. I am in a 1v1. I'm going to vault into the middle of the hallway. Vault into the major hallway of the map.
Attackers need to locate
That was
and defuse bombs.
Wild.
That was an unhinged play. Is the best way I can describe that. Like, that was
panic, maybe? I don't know. I'm trying to find a justification for it, and all I can think, Crow, is it just sort of harkens back to what you and I have been saying, which is that there's a gap in experience here, right, between these two sides, and it shows, I think, in situations like that are very tense, and it shows in poor decision making that seems to come out of Frauds. That's 2 rounds in a row now where we've seen Frauds in a difficult spot, and their decision making has been not good, right? Like, it was almost the same thing as stepping in through the window of study without the flash grenade going off, maybe more egregious than that, but the same kind of like thought process, rush it, finish it off, find a way to win, and not really thinking about it tactically and calmly, which is, I think, something that Gangster Disciples are more than capable of doing in those kind of scenarios.
And now, I think for the first time this map, they have the lead.
Covered their diffuser.
Is that going to be enough to put Frauds in the dirt and eliminate them from the quals? And even then, right? I mean, it's no 7-0, but they've got the lead with Tones going negative, right? He was Hercules last map.
He was.
I mean, obviously, he's not doing poorly. He's still got 8 kills, which is more than most of the members of the. It's almost more than most of the members of the lobby. But
Wow.
He doesn't have demon time right now. Cypher will die to Drix, who gets another opening frag. And Drix might be looking for more. They have a ping on him, but he's still here. Goons checks the wrong angle for just a second, and he pays the price. Drix, a second kill on this Frost, holding down in 90. Reapas will get traded off by the nade. Another nade comes through, but it rolls just out of range of Tones, who ends up swinging now. And Drix comes into support. They know there's more coming in through Study Balcony, and they want to waste as much time as possible.
And they're doing exactly that. So much time is being wasted here. Look, the two of them, I mean, Benny and Reapers, they're just stuck. They can't do anything about it, and they don't know. They don't know that Drix is there. Nobody knows that Drix is there. You could have a satellite image of this entire building, and they wouldn't know that Drix was there. They think he's there, but it doesn't do him enough good. Drix with the triple kill, and finally Benny shuts him down, but it's a 1v3 for Benny. I mean, the guy's played all right tonight, but this is probably a little bit too much of a task here. Don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, especially, I mean, you're up against Tones, Brios, and Haiku.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you took out Drix, who's the top fragger, but I mean, the rest of the guys have not been slouches on this map. He'll take the first fight against Tones. The Mira so low HP that there's not much she could have done in the fight. Haiku tucked behind the bomb.
Wow.
He is the next to die. Weird spot to sit, and Brios lets his location be known thanks to that pre-fire. And he's going to try and get the case down. It looked like that may have had info. I saw a red ping there for a second on Brios' screen. But he's just got to wait out the clock. Remember, the Hibana cannot rotate into Master because of the castle barricade. And look, they do have pings. He allows Benny to rotate in once again. It's a very slim angle he's playing. He lights up this Hibana. The flashes come in. Benny's going to go for the fight. Bearing 9 out, but Brios just runs away. He plays for time. Shotgun comes out, and it's an easy finish for Brios, who makes sure that the round does not spiral out of his team's control. A great attempt from Benny, but it's not enough. The time always working against the attack means that Gangster Disciples go up on map and match point.
Wow, I thought for a second there we were going to see a massive hero moment out of Benny. I really did. But again, experience, decision making, so good on the side of Gangster Disciple. Played that perfectly. You could not have asked for a better play right there from Brios. Fell back on the flash grenade, which forced the Hibana into an unfavorable battle right there. You know you have the shotgun. You know you can use it. Just spectacular. I mean, really genuinely spectacular late round play to handle a very difficult situation. And I mean, I almost feel bad for Frauds at this point because they have not played poorly here on Villa. They have played okay, but it is just not enough. Gangsters are playing at another level. It's not Oregon bad, but you do feel that Gangsters are the superior team, and they show it pretty much every time we get around here. They've just been on a roll on the defensive side.
Unfortunately, though, you know, while they may not have played bad on Villa, Gangster Disciples are playing better. And they certainly did play bad on Oregon. They did. It was rather inexcusable.
I'm not going to make excuses for that. That was terrible. So at
this point, you know, if they're not even going to win their map pick, well, there's nothing to be done. They got to make up 2 rounds against Gangster's Disciples. And, well, sadly, they haven't won a single round on attack yet. Remember? The side switch ended 4-2. Gangsters Disciples have won 4 defenses in a row. I mean, I said it, right? That style of play is way easier to do on the defense, and Gangsters Disciples just do it better. So they're looking for that 5-0, 5-1 half here. Tones is on the roaming Amira. He's got so much confidence. The pre-placed Nitro Cell does not trade out his dead teammate Arepas. But Cypher's going to come in, and he's got something to say. The Nook climbing up red stairs. Drone's getting shot. Flores drone as well. And wow. Brios, he just knows. He's a knower. No more Nook.
He's a knower. He's a knower and a shower right there. As Drix plays now on the 90, liking that long sight angle, and the Nook going down. It's a bad loss early on. Cypher 11 and 9, one of the kill leaders here on the side. But Goons is doing a massive amount of work. Reapers wins that gunfight as well. The trades are simply not there. Hello, Frauds. Will not be shut down this round. They keep their hopes alive for just a little bit longer. And on the primary bomb side as well.
So, okay. Benny stepping up. I mean, you said he hasn't been playing terribly. He hasn't been playing great, but in the past couple rounds, he has really tried to put the team on his back, especially with that opening pick that Frauds had gotten. It seems like Gangsters Disciples maybe overconfident, maybe trying to get ground back a little with a little too much fervor. Especially the flank from Tones, like he just started spraying wildly and then decided to fully walk up the staircase to take the fight. and then we saw like 3 different people try to push into statue. Like, that's not the winning formula. And Gangster Disciples, they know it. They're probably laughing in the comms as we speak. They're going back to AVG, and Tones will now play the Ella. No more Mira. Haiku now on Mozzie with the Roni. Drix on the Alava. Okay, all right. You're up against Drix, Tones, and Haiku on the MX4 Storm, the Scorpion, and the Roni, respectively. I'd be quaking. I'd be terrified.
I'd be worried.
I'd be shaking like I was a Parkinson's patient. Like, I would not be okay.
Yeah, it's scary. No doubt about it. They've all been, they've all been firing. It's all cylinders here from their gunplay tonight. So I do agree with you a little bit that it was a little, I think, funny time there from the side of Gangster Disciples on the last round. I don't know if Frauds is going to get that advantage again. And, hardly the first Siege team to kind of engage in some shenanigans when they were feeling very confident in a position of victory. Brio's here with the AUG. If anybody's going to be the main killer on the team, it's probably going to be them. them. At least they have a good idea of the crossfire here from Drix. But there
Well-
it is. Brios finds the old Viking crew cut on Decipher to start things off.
Like crew cut. I like that one. But yeah, I was gonna hype up Cypher with you. Be like, man, Cypher and Goons, they've been having really good games. And then, well, when his team needed him most, he vanished. Possibly never to be seen again if they don't win this round. So, Cypher down, Twitch drones down. You still got more drone utility though in Goons, who's attempting to clear main all by his lonesome. One Rotero drone will force Drix up the stairs, but I mean, it's not like he can't just come back down after. Plus, Tones is here for support. Right on the other side of this doorway is two opponents, and it's a double swing. There's one, but the second not found. They trade back both. And no, Reapers can't get the kill. The Iana's playing just around the corner.
Attackers
Reapers,
have recovered their diffuser.
he'll nade out. But at this point, Reapers, he's given up. 2 for 2. The teams go at the end of those trades. The main stairs play from Drix and Tones definitely not as planned. And instead of an advantage, we've now equalized.
Now, the defenders do still have the advantage here, though, I think, in terms of their general positioning. Reapers is trying to deny the long hallway as Reapers, again, facing off against the name that sounds oh so similar. Kaliple here playing just inside the door of Study, holding that long sight line, and it's just a battle of positioning right now as they try and set themselves up for the final attack. Less than a minute left. Frauds knows what's on the line here. The pressure must just be immense on their side as they set this up. Brios is waiting. Reapers is waiting. Their guns are positioned, Crow, but there's gonna have to be a go time here from Frauds.
Time is certainly dwindling. 35 seconds as Kalipe makes his way through Study, checking all the angles. No one is holding him. He's looking like he wants to just walk into sight, but he needs one of his teammates with him. Brios is watching the door, and by extension, this opening in the wall between sites. And oh, the gunfire comes out. It lights up Kalipe. Reapers as well, taking some damage. Benny has no way into the site, but they all just rush in, and Haiku's in the corner, waiting by Skull, and he puts them in the dirt. That could be the final 2 nails in the coffin. Benny's got to pick up Case. It's just a Hail Mary play going for Plant. The time is low, the time is done, and Reapers gets the kill. At the very end, Gangsta's Disciples still pull it out. The positioning on point. Haiku, 2 kills in that 3v3, hiding in a corner, and Gangster's Disciples eliminate Frauds to move on.
And what was it at the end of the day that killed them right there, Crow? It was the thing that I'd been talking about the entire time. Lack of information. Not knowing where the members of Gangster Disciples were. I don't think they would have gone for that play if they had known that Haiku was hiding in the corner right there. I just don't think they would have done it. And
Yeah.
that was just too little time for them to adequately get what they needed out of that. There wasn't enough time for them to position all the defenders. They thought they had a decent idea of where they were. They were wrong. And it was just the nature of so many of their losses across both Oregon and Villa. But credit where credit is due, that was a very entertaining Villa. They're not normally that entertaining. So I enjoyed that, at least, at the very least.
Yeah, even the 7-0 on Oregon was at least, action-packed, even if
Some good gameplay.
Yeah, even if
From
it
one
was just
side.
on one side. But, I mean, it's a 2-0 for Gangster Disciples. I was looking at the scores, trying to see if I could update everyone on games that have finished, but only one has finished. S2 have knocked out Space Shoes, 7-2, 7-3 on Oregon and Chalet, respectively. I was also looking at a lot of the map pools. Every single game had a pretty good map pool, except one. Weebs didn't ask, and I'm glad we didn't take this game now, because I was thinking about maybe taking this game just to see if Delta Force can win a best of 3 against Dan 3041. It's Oregon Villa Club, so I'm very glad we didn't end up taking that one. But this was fun. I'm sad it wasn't a longer game for our first cast together, but at least it was action packed.
It was.
There's a lot we can say about that game, but it certainly wasn't boring. So I know because it ends in a 2-0 and it's a pretty quick 2-0, we might be back with a map 3 from one of these other games. We'll have to see. If we can't get into a map 3, then thanks for watching. But we probably will, because we finished so early. So sit tight. Either map 3 or the next game is coming up in, I don't know, in whenever.